Wife's shady night. Cheating suspected. Married less than a year, both in our mid-20s. She gets concert tickets for Christmas. Naturally, I assume I'm going with her. Nope. She wants to take someone from work because he is supposedly a huge fan of the band. She also tells me he's gay. I am upset, but I decide not to start a fight about it. She goes to the concert and they wait outside near the band bus after the show is over. The bassist from the band starts to talk to her, and she flirts with him. He asks if she is going to their New Year's Eve show, 200 miles away. She says no because she can't afford it. He said he'll comp her tickets if she comes. She says she won't go alone. He says she can bring her friend. Now our New Year's Eve plans are ruined because there's no way I can go too. She had joked before about having to sleep with the bassist for these tickets and VIP access. I did not find it funny, so she played it off. In the end, this is her favorite band, and I don't want her holding this over my head for the rest of our lives, so I let her make the decision herself. She decides to go with her friend from work, who she now says she's only 80% sure he's gay. WTF? She texts me on the long drive there. Then when she gets the tickets, then nothing. I text her at midnight. She gives me a 3-word response. I don't hear from her again. I call her at 11:30 the next morning, and she says she is waiting at the subway station to go back to her hotel. She eventually gets home around 4:30 p.m. I ask her how it went. She says they partied all night. She took prescription drugs and drank a lot. She said she was pissed she paid for a hotel when she only slept in it for 2 hours. I asked how that was possible when she was at the subway at 11:30 a.m. She admits that she didn't use the hotel room at all, and that she must have slept in the band suite. What? She blames her amnesia on a hangover. Fast forward a day or so. She gets out of the shower. I notice she shaved her pubes. I ask her when she did it. She says Friday. Here's the thing. My wife never shaves her pubes. When she does, it's a present for me. She left for work, and I found a package of Summer's Eve feminine wipes in her overnight bag. Here's the other thing. I've always secretly thought she's had an odor problem, but she's certainly never done anything about it for me. This was a brand new pack. Why did she have them? Update. I sat her down last night for a talk. I asked her to walk me through the night so I could better understand the details. They had tickets waiting at will call and were able to stand in the VIP section for the concert. The bar was open until about 2 o'clock, at which point they were invited to the band suite. The hotel gave her free pajamas, so she wasn't wearing her dress when she went up there. It was a pretty large party with the bassist, guitarist, cellist from the opening band, and the entire road crew. She said her friend from work was hovering around her all night to the point of being annoying. She said she fell asleep on the floor of the living room, as did a dozen other people. Her coworker woke her up around 11, and they went to the subway. I asked her why she shaved. She said she doesn't know. What if I ended up going swimming? She said. Did you bring a bathing suit? I asked. No. Not to mention the fact that my wife can't swim. She'll drown in 6 ft of water with nothing to hold on to. We enjoy hot tubs, though I still wouldn't have been comfortable with her in a hot tub full of strangers. I asked her about the Summer's Eve cleansing cloths. She admitted they were for feminine odor, but said she bought them during our last Walmart shopping trip, which was the day after Christmas. If that's true, she couldn't have known she was sleeping out without me on NYE. She said she didn't even open them. When I checked the package again, I was positive it was unopened. I asked her to look me in the eyes and swear that there was no kissing, cuddling, or sexual contact of any kind. She did so, repeating those exact words. I also told her how hurt I was about the whole situation. I told her that if she has tickets to something, and I want to go, she is obligated to take me no matter what. If she isn't ready to make that call, then she wasn't ready for marriage. She was very resistant and used a lot of hyperbole in the conversation. You always this, I never that. The most hurtful thing she said to me was that if I was able to go on NYE, she thinks she wouldn't have had as much fun. I told her that's a fundamental blow to our relationship that should call our marriage into question. She said I was being ridiculous. So I'm pretty much right back where I started. Still not sure if she cheated. It's possible she lied. I have no way of knowing. She's acting pretty much normal at home, as if nothing happened. Still don't know what to do. I'm going to leave this up for another day or so, then take it down so she doesn't see it. Suggestions, other than dump that lying cheating whore, would be appreciated. Update 2. Last week, the bassist guy texted my wife and invited her to a concert in a city 100 miles away on a weeknight. She wanted to go by herself, and I brought up the events of New Year's Eve. She stopped talking to me and gave me the silent treatment for 3 days. I went on a business trip over the weekend and kept in touch with her every day. When I got back, we spent Valentine's Day together. Yesterday, I was on Reddit and saw that I had an orangered. I clicked on it, only to realize that my wife was still signed in on my computer. She used her account for Gone Wild, which I knew about and supported, but what I didn't expect is that she was sending photos to guys via PM. I continued reading. One guy asked, "What's the wildest thing you've ever done?" And there it was. She responded with, "On NYE, I had my first threesome with a member of a famous 90s rock band and a friend. The first thing I did was speak to a lawyer about my options. Then I confronted her about it, and she said it was only half true. She said she embellished and that her friend really is gay, and she and the bassist made out and did oral. That's when I left the apartment and headed straight for the hospital to get tested for STDs. I got back several hours later, not believing a word she said. I told her to text the guy simply, 'Did we have sex?' And if he says no, I'll believe her. She then admitted they did have sex. My whole life has been shattered. We were married for less than a year, and I invested my whole being into this 5-year relationship. I moved into the second bedroom, and I'm sleeping on a futon. Our lease goes until May. Update 3-4 men. She had an affair with 4 different men over the past 5 months. The first was a guy from work she started sexting and sending racy pictures to back in October. Then she met a random guy at a concert and kissed him. She met up with him again when she was at a drive-in movie theater with a friend, where allegedly nothing happened except cuddling. She met up with him again when she was at a gay club with some friends, and he fucked her from behind in the bathroom. He drunk texted her a month later, they fought, and broke off contact after that. One night in mid-December, I came home from work at 6 p.m., knowing that she got done at 2 p.m. for a company Christmas party. Her pet bunny was out of its cage and running around the apartment. She was nowhere to be found. Her car was in the parking lot. Her coat was on a chair. I called her phone and it rang from the couch. I called my mom in a panic. I ran around the apartment complex looking for her. I screamed her name. I even checked the goddamn dumpsters, expecting the worst. When she came home, an hour and a half later, the police were in my living room, and I was giving them her description. I held her so tightly. I was so scared that something had happened to her. I was in tears. A minute earlier, she was making out with the guy from work in his car, down the street, with her hand on his dick. If she wasn't on her period, she would have had sex with him. Then there's New Year's Eve. The bassist guy likes it up the ass. When my wife and her gay friend went up to his hotel room, he asked him to fuck him up the ass. He did, with my wife in the room, and then the guy told him to get lost. He then had unprotected sex with her, with possible vaginal insemination. She took the morning after pill and had a pregnancy scare when she was late for her period. They continued to chat via text/email/video chat after that. Finally, she had an emotional affair with a guy she met on Reddit. They flirted via text and email and made plans to meet in person and have sex while I was on a business trip last weekend. A friend of mine asked her if she wanted to do LSD together, and she found that to be the better option. As far as I know, she never met the guy. She continued to flirt and chat with 3 of the 4 men up until last Wednesday when I found out. I only found out about the other 2 yesterday, after I invaded her privacy and found tons of emails and chats with and about these men. I forwarded those emails to myself. I even have the t-shirt that my wife slept in that belonged to the bassist. She actually brought it into our home. I could never hurt or kill myself, but believe me when I say I wish I was dead. I wouldn't wish this pain on someone I hate. I'm weak. I'm exhausted. I can't eat or sleep. I miss her so bad, but I'm repulsed by her at the same time. I told her not to even be in the same room as me until she gets tested for STDs. I told her to email her entire family and tell them everything she did. She has a very tight family, and this will likely shame her for life. I told her she needs to cut all ties with everyone and burn every bridge, including with the 2 friends she had that enabled her if she ever wants to speak to me again. And even then, it's very likely that there's nothing to save. I feel so alone. I have friends that I've been relying on, but I can't tell if they are being supportive because they want to be, and they like to have me around, or if they are simply not assholes. My confidence and self-esteem is shot. I'm doomed to be alone no matter what I do. I was already physically neglected. I am in no condition for a new relationship, and there is no way I could be intimate with this woman again. Everything I had was just ripped away. Update 4. The past 7 months have had a lot of ups and downs. I'm in a much better place than I used to be, but still on the road to recovery. I go to therapy 3 times a month. I started running and working out frequently. I dropped from 245 pounds in February to 205 pounds this morning. I feel so much more in shape, and for the first time since high school, I feel good about my body. The change has caused me to have to buy all new clothes, so I'm slowly updating my wardrobe and dressing, and subsequently feeling better. I have a large pool of friends now. The friends that I spent New Year's Eve with hang out every Tuesday for trivia, and we went to the beach a few times this spring and summer. I practice with my band 3 times a week now, and our album was just released for free online. We hang out several times a week. My best friend right now is a girl I met on Reddit, unrelated to these posts. We text every day and hang out every other night, and if one of us absent for more than 2 days, we miss each other a lot. I took a trip to Puerto Rico with my mom and my aunt back in May, and it was a life-changing experience. No sightseeing or touristing. My mom grew up there and we were visiting family. I got to experience the real culture and my heritage. I currently live in a predominantly white suburb. When I came back, I was much more calm and finally had a positive outlook on life. As for my ex, the easiest, cheapest, and most painless way for us to divorce is on irreconcilable differences. For my state, that requires 18 months of living in separate residences while not having sex with each other. No problem there, 6 months down, 12 to go. I look forward to the day she no longer disgraces my last name. There is so much she is still lying to me about and so much I will never know the truth about. For a while, we talked about spending time apart, and after a while, see if there was something there to save. She called me to meet with her a few months later, and after a long and deceitful amount of small talk, she told me she had given up. She no longer wanted me back, she had quit therapy, and I know for a fact she is currently dating one of the guys she cheated on me with. To be honest, good for her. She will either wake up one day and realize how much better her life could have been with me, or she'll have a better life with this guy. Either way, I never would have wanted to hold her back from a higher state of happiness. In the meantime, I never want to see her again, outside of a courtroom. To cope with my deflated ego, I went through a period of sexual promiscuity. I picked up some self-help books and took my new body to college parties. I went on dates with old friends I hadn't seen in 5 years. I slept around with girls as old as 30 and as young as 18. To be perfectly honest, none of that made me feel any better. I thought that I wanted to feel young again, and sow my wild oats, but the truth is, I just wanted to be loved. So I'm actually dating someone right now. We connect deeply on a mental and physical level, and being with her makes me feel like I can love again. She lives an hour away, which I find to be a good thing because it keeps this from turning into a codependent relationship. I retain my independence, while still having someone who cares for me and goes out with me a few times a week. Will it last? Don't know, don't care. Living in the moment has been one of my coping mechanisms this year. So long as I live responsibly, when I'm with her, I'm happy, and that's all I care about. So this is getting long, but I wanted to thank all of the supportive commenters on Reddit. Many of you offered good advice that I took to heart, and some of you even reached out to me on Facebook. I may have been slightly jaded at the time, but the show of compassion and empathy from strangers has been truly heartwarming. I like the new me, and I hope to be better for the experience.